Welcome to Global News Channel. I'm Forster, your host for today's in-depth segment, where we'll be exploring the challenges and possibilities surrounding Vice President Kamala Harris's potential run for the US presidency in 2024. Kamala Harris's political career has been both historic and groundbreaking. As the first female vice president, and the first vice president of both Black and South Asian descent, Harris is a prominent figure in American politics with a career shaped by significant achievements and challenges. Despite this, a surprising statistic reveals her approval rating currently sits around 40%, with considerable divides across party lines and demographic groups, making her one of the most polarizing figures in current US politics. While her support among progressive groups and communities of color is solid, questions around her ability to unite a broad coalition are evident in polling numbers, as moderates and independents express doubts about her preparedness for the highest office. Looking at these approval ratings, it's clear that public opinion on Harris is complex. According to a recent Gallup poll, nearly half of Democratic voters continue to support her within the party, but there's significant division among independents and moderate Democrats. Approximately 48% of Americans surveyed by YouGov say they would prefer a fresh Democratic candidate for the 2024 election, signaling some reluctance even within her own party base. This internal tension could prove challenging. She seeks to balance appealing to her core supporters while winning over independents who have grown uncertain of her ability to lead on a national stage. One major hurdle Harris faces is the need to establish a reputation for leadership on an international level, a critical aspect that American voters consider important in a potential president. A closer look at Harris's tenure as vice president reveals some successes, but also some criticisms. Her policy achievements include significant contributions to the American Rescue Plan, a monumental $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package that provided critical support to families, businesses, and healthcare providers across the country. This package was well received, with data from Pew Research indicating that nearly 68% of Americans supported the relief it provided during the economic strain of the pandemic. In this effort, Harris demonstrated a commitment to economic recovery and public health, and her role in the plan, her dedication to stabilizing the country through a crisis. Nevertheless, her handling of immigration issues, particularly regarding the southern US border, has drawn scrutiny. Critics argue that her approach has lacked clarity and engagement, with some conservative commentators and moderate Democrats feeling her response was too restrained during high-stakes situations. In fact, a recent poll showed that over 50% of respondents felt Harris had not taken an active enough role of addressing the immigration crisis. Her visibility in moments of national importance has become a focal point in public discussion, with both supporters and critics asking whether her approach to leadership is sufficiently assertive to address large-scale issues facing the US today. Turning to Harris's broader political career, we see that her path has been one of both accomplishments and controversies, especially within the criminal justice arena. During her time as Attorney General of California, Harris made strides in consumer protection and police accountability. Notably, she played a key role in the 2012 national mortgage settlement, which provided billions of dollars in relief for Californians impacted by the foreclosure crisis. This achievement underscores her efforts to protect consumers during a challenging economic period. However, her record as a prosecutor has faced criticism from the left, particularly among progressive groups who feel her policies on drug sentencing and criminal penalties did not align with the reformative approach she later endorsed. A 2019 survey of progressive voters found that over 60% expressed concerns about her previous positions on criminal justice reform, citing instances where her office pursued strict sentences for low-level drug offenses and non-violent crimes decisions that some argue disproportionately affected minority communities. As a U.S. Senator for California, Harris's policy priorities included climate action, healthcare access, and immigration reform, areas that align her closely with the Democratic Party's central platform. However, some analysts argue that her Senate record lacks major legislative victories. According to data from GovTrack, only a small fraction of the bills she sponsored during her Senate term became law. Critics argue that this limited track record of legislative success points to a need for clearer, more actionable results that can demonstrate her effectiveness as a national leader. This is further underscored by her focus on co-sponsoring broader initiatives, such as the Green New Deal, which aims to tackle climate change and create jobs. While this proposal resonated with younger, environmentally conscious voters, the lack of concrete follow-through on major policies like this can leave some voters questioning her capacity to lead in both policy and action. The challenges Harris faces are not only policy-based, but also deeply rooted in public perception. Public opinion on Harris varies significantly, with high approval among black women who view her as a symbol of representation and progress, while independents and some moderates continue to express uncertainty about her leadership. A demographic breakdown from Gallup reveals that around 70% of black Americans approve of her job performance, yet only 34% of independents view her favorably, underscoring a significant divide in public perception. This divide raises questions about her potential to unify a broad base of voters, which would be crucial for any presidential campaign. Harris's public image is shaped not only by her policy positions, but by her visibility or, at times, perceived lack of it on critical issues. The 2021 border crisis serves as a case in point. Critics argue that her response to the crisis lacked urgency and public engagement, raising questions about her willingness to address difficult situations head-on. This perception could be a hindrance if she decides to pursue a presidential run, as modern American voters increasingly expect their leaders to be visibly present and proactive, especially during crises. According to polling data, American voters highly value transparency and visibility, especially in moments of national or global uncertainty. This trend can be observed in the rising popularity of international leaders like New Zealand's Jacinda Ardern, who is known for her high-profile responses during crises, projecting both competence and empathy. These qualities have become essential expectations for voters who want a leader that is both visible and engaged. The roadblocks Harris faces don't end with public perception. Although she positions herself with the progressive wing of the Democratic Party on key issues, her past prosecutorial record has created some friction within the party, especially among progressive activists. Her alignment with the Green New Deal and other climate initiatives has won her support among environmental groups, yet her moderate approach to certain criminal justice reforms remains a point of contention for those seeking more radical change. If Harris wants to win support across the spectrum, she may need to address these conflicting aspects of her career and clearly communicate her vision moving forward. Polling data underscores the challenges she faces in convincing a broader electorate of her suitability as a presidential candidate. In a recent YouGov poll, 48% of Democratic voters expressed a desire for a new candidate to lead the party in 2024, while 35% said they would support Harris. This sentiment, marked by both hopes for fresh leadership and hesitation surrounding Harris's candidacy, illustrates the mixed feelings even among her party's base. Similarly, independent voters, whose support is often crucial in presidential elections, remain skeptical, with a notable 53% expressing doubts about Harris due to what they perceive as an inconsistent record on major national issues. These statistics suggest that to win a broader coalition, Harris may need to take a firm, clear stance on issues that matter most to voters, particularly healthcare, climate action, and economic stability. To build a campaign that resonates widely, Harris will need to balance the support of her base with efforts to win over independent and moderate voters who may be undecided or unconvinced. By addressing these mixed perceptions and showcasing her strengths, she could potentially mitigate some of the criticisms that have followed her career. Furthermore, engaging in more visible, consistent communication on pressing national issues may help bridge the gap in public trust and strengthen her appeal to a broader electorate. At the same time, effectively demonstrating her leadership through clear policy goals and measurable outcomes could be the deciding factor in securing her place as a formidable candidate. In summary, Kamala Harris stands at a pivotal point in her career. She has broken barriers, inspired millions, and contributed to meaningful policy initiatives, yet her path to the presidency is layered with challenges that require both strategic positioning and a focused narrative to address concerns raised by a divided electorate. With her approval ratings fluctuating, public perceptions about her leadership abilities in question, and significant internal divides within her party, Harris will need to carefully navigate these complexities to build a coalition that supports her vision for America's future. The question remains, what should Kamala Harris do to win the US elections in 2024? We want to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Global News Channel for more in-depth political coverage, and stay tuned for our next segment, where we'll explore potential 2024 candidates and their strategies for navigating the ever-evolving political landscape. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Global News Channel.